Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime series where we chat about everything leadership coaching and marketing in the aim of adding value to people's lives, happening every Wednesday and Thursday on ebizradio.com. You can catch the Lunchtime series on all your major podcast channels today, and to help us grow the channel, please like, follow and share with everyone, guys. In today's marketing and leadership segment, join me as per usual, marketing and communications expert and co-host Craig Pagely. How are you doing, Craig?
Kevin, I'm good, thanks, and you?
Good.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I just when prepping the content for today's show, I suddenly realized that we've got about 7 or 8 working weeks left this year. So probably about the same number of shows, just depending where we kick, at least end the year in the middle of December. And yeah, then we can get into some relaxation time through our festive season.
Craig, Einstein was right about the time, and when he said time doesn't exist and stuff like that. It's a construct, because I honestly feel like when you're busy, time warps to a different. Because I can't believe that we're just nearly. I mean, 7-8 weeks. That's literally a year just gone by, and if I have to tell you. I mean, there's so much that has happened in this year, but I'm kind of going, it's November.
Yeah, and 8 weeks will take us to Friday the 24th of December, the day before the big celebration of year end for most people.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, we've had fun. We can't deny that.
Absolutely.
Craig, before we start the show today, what are the key takeaways that you can share with us for our listeners from last week?
Kevin, yeah, we covered the topic of what the smart or connected home is last week, which according to Investopedia reads as follows. The smart home allows homeowners to control the appliances, thermostats, lights, and other devices remotely using a smartphone, tablet, or game console through an internet connection. And smart homes can actually be set up through these wireless or hardwire systems, with the technology providing homeowners with the convenience and obviously key thing, cost savings. So household components such as doors, locks, television sets, thermostats, home monitors, cameras, lights, and even appliances like refrigerators can be controlled through a central home automation system. The system is installed on a mobile or other network device, and it allows users to actually start creating time schedules for the various components to be activated, either being turned on or turned off. Importantly, artificial intelligence definitely plays a role in the effective operations of a smart or connected home. And the point that we focused on a bit here is that smart home appliances are actually coming with self-learning skills, so they can actually learn the homeowner's schedules and make adjustments as needed, allowing homeowners to therefore reduce electricity usage and benefit again from those energy-related costs given. From a security point of view, some home automation systems even allow homeowners, if motion is detected, at least alert homeowners if movement is detected in their home while they're away. The homeowners can then decide the remedial action that's required, and in some instances, the systems can actually connect into security companies or even to police networks. And lastly, the global smart kitchen market is expanding rapidly, being valued at about 14.5 billion in 2019, reaching at about, can you believe it, 43 billion by 2027. Smart kitchens are definitely becoming more intelligent, with smart ovens and fridges actually being able to scan food and even making orders that are sent to the likes of Amazon. And those are the key takeaway points from last week, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. A fascinating conversation. Guys, if you want to catch that up, you can go and check it out on the Lunchtime series on all your major podcast channels out there, and as well as YouTube. But Craig, so what are we chatting about today? Because I know that Ebiz Radio is like, hey, we need some content about this, and it's very useful. It's very helpful.
So we're definitely going to be getting into a very interesting conversation that is coming up in about 2 weeks' time. But leading into that, just starting to pick up on some of the digital trends for 2023, and predominantly because it's a key planning time for marketers, Kevin. You know, most marketers are running into the end. Well, in fact, some of them have actually run into the end of their planning cycle now, the end of October, and getting ready to implement their new strategies. So I thought it quite appropriate to cover some of the digital trends that are going to drive deep into 2023. So on the topic of marketing planning, though, I just want to start off by referencing some key points from the article titled Modern Marketing Dilemmas. How can you prove marketing adds value to your brand, as published on Cantor.com as recently as the 25th of October. Kevin, the article focuses on the point that value creation is the most important job in any business, with marketers agreeing that the high quality marketing can be a key differentiator in driving brand value growth. And it goes without saying, obviously, that digital marketing is, in essence, at the forefront of helping businesses deliver that value. The article further states that most marketers agree that it's important to measure marketing effectiveness, and there is evidence to suggest that its prominence has risen within businesses. The interesting conversation, I know we've picked up on this a bit in the past as well, is actually to understand what to measure in the conversation, Kevin.
Craig, you know, one of the things, you know, just on that point, value creation is the most important job in any business. Just from a human behavior perspective, what's interesting is that that is also an intention when it comes to human behavior, right? So as much as the brand needs to support what it's doing, the people involved needs to come from that perspective, because when you come from I always look at it as, you know, if you come from a begging bowl perspective, you're not adding as much value as you could, right? And that could really influence your messaging. It could influence what it is you're saying, how you'd like to land information, how much information you can actually add to the brand. So intentional value, I think having your mind wrapped around what value actually means and how it starts playing out is also, you know, part of your messaging.
Very, very much so. And really getting to understand digital in its fullest and broadest stretch is important, because different points of value are derived at different points in the consumer journey.
Yeah. So the last point you make obviously highlights the importance of the digital in the mix, as this is one of the best places to prove measurability and effectiveness.
Yeah, Kevin, absolutely. In fact, exactly that. And this is why the topic of digital trends is so important for marketers to understand how to build out their thinking into 2023. So with that said, let's just jump into some of the points that I've been able to pull together relating to what's actually driving digital trends into 2023. And one of the articles that I came across, Kevin, is titled "The Next 8 Big Digital Marketing Trends in 2023." It was published to e-commerce Fastlane on 28 October 2022. Again, these are really very, very recent articles that we're addressing. And the article covers the following broad overview, Kevin. So firstly, digital markets forever changing. We know that as more people find themselves on the internet, and obviously the demand for technology is growing as well. So as consumers, we expect a lot from businesses that exist online, and the user experience therefore plays a big role in whether or not we actually choose to purchase a service or a product. There's over 1.5 billion social medias across the globe at any one point, Kevin, and you know, it's a market that has to be taken advantage of by businesses online, and we just got to get more and more businesses into the digital platform. The key trend is to target the right audience through data collection and build awareness of what actually works for the market and your brand or business and which territory you operate in. And it goes without saying that all marketing campaigns rely on knowledge of the audience in question and what they need to engage with your business. Digital marketing obviously offers many opportunities to gather that data, and when analyzed correctly, will definitely help improve the success rate of any marketing activity. Once the analysis is in place, given that it's important, it's just about optimizing the conversion rates and understanding how to dial the digital engagement up or down. Important point to note, though, is that not all businesses are optimizing their conversion rates effectively, with only 22% of businesses noting satisfactory conversion. So there's, yeah, 3/4 of businesses utilizing digital are actually missing the understanding of converting their prospective consumers. What this means is that brands really need to deploy a lot more effort to convert those potential leads into customers. The trend that we've discussed a few times in other shows, Kevin, is obviously that of increasing customer loyalty. This is the modern age of business, where there's more focus on retaining customers for longer than rather just getting into those single transactions and moving on to the next person. The article also confirms the fact that customer loyalty is a significant way of gaining trust and commitment to your brand and business. And obviously with digital marketing, the brand can remain at the forefront and in public's eye, hopefully encouraging customers to return repeatedly, and obviously building out the depth of loyalty. Another key trend is to gain better credibility. As a business, for individuals to engage and buy from your brand, they need to see positive reputation and a following of customers that can actually validate the reliability of your business. Another key trend to referenced in the article is the rise of machine translation. And I was really fascinated by this point, because the translation into multilingual content is incredibly important, because most of content online, Kevin, is actually written in English, and an audience reach and engagement is severely compromised at times purely on the back of English language. Most non-native English users actually use online translation tools, which one would expect at the best of times actually do mistranslate and misrepresent brand content. Due to this, multilingual content creation is rapidly on the rise, especially with the development and accessibility of machine translation, also known as MT. However, the over-reliance on MT may also produce the same results as the online translation toolkits. For this reason, machine translation post-editing, popularly known, again, another acronym, MTPE, has been widely appealing to digital marketers, that it merges the applied technologies and the skills of the native translators to produce multilingual content that accurately conveys the marketing message. And Kevin, here's a perfect example of how technological development, AI and the likes, is not threatening job creation, but actually creating other opportunities and leveraging human intervention to enable systems to become more effective. And finally, real-time messaging platforms are maturing to become one of the leading customer engagement interfaces these days, in essence becoming those deep data hubs that can store everything you'll need to understand more about your customer than ever before.
Correct. So, I mean, I think one of the important things that you mentioned here is, gaining better credibility. I think an important factor that people sometimes forget is, when you've done a good job, get people to talk about it. Go back and say, hey, don't you want to comment on my LinkedIn, or don't you want to say something, or can I get a testimonial video or something? That's it's part and parcel of building that credibility, but also, Craig, consistency, right? Consistency of your messaging, consistency of how you show up and what it is you're saying. That also speaks quite largely to people knowing who you are and what it is you do, right?
Absolutely. And I like the credibility point that you pick up on, because the one thing about getting folk to start recommending and communicating more online and through your social media channels is it's a deeper opportunity to really entrench yourself in a conversation with your prospects, with those that have engaged with your business, those that want to support you. So it's not just about an opportunity to promote you, it is actually an opportunity to promote you, but get into a deeper, more meaningful and loyalty driven style of conversation, Kevin.
Craig, so I mean, do influencers still have a role moving into 2023? I mean, the reason why this is a good conversation, I just want to interject and say, we know how Kanye West. I mean, look, wow. It's been all over the news everywhere, and I was like, really, do we really care so much about Kanye West? But the fact is, I'm so glad that brands have held him accountable. Yes. Have really brought him to task and said, no, dude, you cannot just misbehave and say what the hell you want in aim of just free speech. You have a platform, you have a responsibility to the brands that support you, and what you say matters, So I'm really glad that I think he's been put in his place a little bit.
Yeah, I think more influencers do need to be put in their place. But to that point, Kevin, yes, influencers in certain brand categories, influencer marketing is responsible for bringing in, on average, $5.20 for every $1 spent in the marketing of that space. And that's a phenomenal return. So with digital and real-time messaging platforms likely being the key drivers of this engagement, it's obvious to see the instantaneousness of that ROI. That said, though, the article does caution businesses to understand exactly what type of influencer they need for their brand, with many marketers falling short with this type of marketing because they've actually chosen the wrong individuals who do not have the relevant audience understanding or reach, or as you say with Kanye, is just going off and not understanding how to manage his output relative to the brands that are actually paying for his existence.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the brands, he wouldn't have the billionaire status. So
correct, Kevin. Correct. Exactly.
Loads of responsibility that he just threw up in the air.
Yeah.
Are there specific areas that require investment to ensure effective digital marketing for businesses?
Yeah, Kevin, absolutely. There's a great article titled 2023 Digital Marketing Trends. What are the latest innovations you could be investing in? And this article specifically addresses these questions in detail. The article was first published again very recently, 21 October 2020, to smartinsights.com. It's written by David Chaffee, the co-founder and content director of an interesting online marketing training platform and publisher known as Smart Insights. So the article addresses 6 digital marketing pillars, Kevin, which actually give business owners and managers a higher level view of digital marketing success factors, all obviously being able to influence where their spend is and how to structure their strategies effectively. In small businesses, it may be one person, such as the owner or digital marketing manager, responsible for the entire marketing strategy, while in larger businesses, there may be one person responsible for each of the 6 pillars. And these pillars are in essence known as follows. First pillar is strategy and management. Second pillar is goals and measurement. Third pillar is media. Fourth pillar is content. Fifth pillar is digital experience. And the 6th pillar is conversational messaging. And we've started touching on a couple of these pillars in the conversation we've had today. The important thing here is within each of those pillars, there's quite a deep layering of how trends are happening and affecting the delivery of those pillars. So let's have a quick look at each of those in detail, Kevin. So the first pillar, strategy and management, addresses the points of goals, analytics, strategy, which is segmentation, targeting, and brand positioning, integration, marketing, sales alignment, resource structure, skills development, and marketing technology. So you can see there's a broad spectrum of components that make up strategy and management. And obviously there's certain trends that affect a number of those subsets within that. The key focus here is obviously digital strategy and planning trends, with digital marketing strategy noted as vital to success in the digital marketing, since it defines actually how marketing budgets are best allocated across the various pillars. So, start at the beginning, understand where your investments need to be. The latest research, interestingly, on digital marketing investment from Gartner, State of Marketing Budget and Strategy in 2020, the research highlights the trend in budget allocated amongst larger businesses as follows. Marketing allocated more than half its budget to online channels, Kevin, 54% on average. With a digital budget, more than 60% within that digital budget, more than 60% is allocated to paid media. There's a fairly even balance between the range of digital media channels, and those are anywhere from your channels that you use for reach, from those that you use to actually act out and start engaging with the consumer, those that you use to convert, and then those that you use to engage to bring back into the loyalty loop, Kevin. The second pillar here is goals and measurement, which addresses your forecasts, your digital reporting, including your KPI and dashboards, and your attribution and customer insights. There's a trend to increasing expenditure on business science and data analytics, something we've picked up on the last 2 or 3 weeks, where we've been really looking at the likes of digital twins, etc., artificial intelligence, and particularly use of predictive marketing analytics just to help effective decision making here, Kevin. The third pillar is that of media, which addresses the traditional paid media, owned media, and earned media proposition, but it actually stretches into the organic and paid search, social media, and display advertising. One of the big changes here, Kevin, is the increasing need to invest in paid media. Point to note is that the need for social media platforms to monetize their platforms on the back of restricted organic reach is bringing this pay to play in social media to the fore and actually seeing it established as a norm. The fourth pillar is content, which in this instance addresses content marketing strategy, which includes product and blog content to really drive the content marketing objectives, PDF downloads, interactive tools, and content distribution enablement. And we've spoken about that some 3 weeks ago, Kevin. Content fuels all digital marketing activities, including the different types of media, and supports conversion using the digital experience. The key takeaway out of this pillar here is that leading businesses have a very clearly defined content marketing strategy, very, very clearly defined measure approach to evaluating their content effectiveness, and in most instances, a dedicated resource for driving content marketing. Kevin, again, you might remember this from our discussion. The most effective content is still the tried and tested approaches like webinars, research reports, white papers, and case studies, which actually place the prospect into a real case scenario to demonstrate the key value for their needs. And richer formats like video and podcasts are really growing in popularity as well. The fifth pillar addresses desktop, mobile, websites, and apps, with online customer service really being key. There's a trend to much richer, more interactive experiences like managing customer journeys, providing tailored content based on behavior, as well as the immersive inclusion of AR and VR into that customer experience journey. And then the last pillar here is for me a really important one, is that conversational messaging, which addresses the likes of the email, the chat, the social media, customer service, on-site interaction, personalization, and that really enabling that recognition and support to the brand. The article references the trend conversational messaging rather than messaging, since it was coined by Gartner, who explained the value of, rather than using simple push messaging, to that of interaction and dialogue messaging. And lastly, the email and mobile messaging, social retargeting, and on-site personalization are all established techniques, with newer developments being made around the text and voice-based chats using AI and bots. And we covered that quite clearly in the conversation around the digital speakers in your home as well, of which you've had first-hand experience.
So listening to this, Craig, it all seems quite complicated, right? When you kind of look at these when you really look at the in-depth approach to getting this right. But I think it's a case of just starting, right?
Yes,
starting.
And I think the important term there is the depth. There, 6 pillars with a lot of subsets and layers to it. In smaller businesses, it is a lot more challenging as solo operators or very small teams to try and address all of these in an effective, fast, and stringent way. But big organizations, bigger brand agencies, at least brand companies, have deeper teams to bring this to life. For those in business like yourself, addressing this isn't a flick of the switch. It's a slog and a really deep focus to bring it to life, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Craig, as we close the show today, what can you share with the listeners as the key takeaways from today's conversation?
Yeah, Kevin, to support the points we've just been through, I think the the next few points as our key takeaway will really enable folk to know how to address the previous points in a much simpler way. So I want to again reference the article that we opened with the next 8 big digital marketing trends for 2023 as found on e-commerce Fastlane as our reference for the takeaway point. So first here is gathering zero-party data through practices like form building. So when we're talking into the pillars of web and apps and things like that, big data is key to business success and sustainability. And the biggest challenge here, though, is that the way we gather data has had to change due to new privacy laws that have been implemented worldwide. And businesses therefore need to gather insights from various means, with form building a key priority in gathering that customer information. And only when you've got that in place are you able to start working with it, dissecting it, and analyzing it to be more effective. The second point here is email marketing for product launches and small businesses becomes more influential. Email marketing, one of the platforms and channels that I've definitely believed is still one of the most effective today, is currently being used with 89% of marketers using this as a primary lead generation source, Kevin. Yeah, almost everyone in business operates with an email account these days. So obviously the trend will obviously continue into 2023, making it highly accessible for brands and businesses to connect with their customers. Point 3 is more creativity will come through marketing apps like SurveyMonkey. I don't know if you've used SurveyMonkey much at all, Kevin.
I have actually. I've used SurveyMonkey and GetResponse. Pretty similar.
Pretty similar, yes.
Yeah, and they very useful. They do a lot of. They take a lot of work out of having to put stuff together. So they make it really.
Yes.
They can be quite pricey, but when you use platforms like this, it's a fantastic sort of tool to use for just engaging with your business and really, keeping that continuous engagement with people.
Absolutely. As creativity is the key differentiator for advertising moving into 2023, it's really a case about being supported by highly relevant content. So clients now have the best chance of getting noticed and driving engagement. SurveyMonkey comes in as the perfect platform to actually drive tests for creativity and actually establish through the question platforms where the best creative biases are and who's leaning into what type of content more effectively. Other creative applications for brands to explore are Facebook Live and then obviously TikTok Shop, both really platforms that can bring a lot of creativity in real time to life for brands, Kevin. The fourth point here is real-time messaging platforms. Obviously, these are great data collection enablements. With consumers wanting everything as quickly as possible, we really have to understand that real-time messaging platforms are the perfect opportunity to reach consumers quickly and directly, and for data gathering and insight building opportunities. The fifth point is influencer marketing. Picking up on your question earlier about Kanye, it definitely will continue into 2023. And even though this medium has received a lot of mixed reviews, predominantly in the last year, influencer marketing will continue. And it was once only used by a handful of marketers, but it's definitely now being used by almost every business that exists digitally, with much of the activity and content being driven through TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. Customers, point 6, customers will want more gratification when shopping with brands. Talking to the previous point around wanting everything as quickly as possible, instant gratification is required in a digital world where customers actually are holding most of the power. So when shopping online, they really want to get what they want instantly, Kevin, and any delays or having to wait is going to lead customers to go elsewhere. And that's why marketing teams really need to think proactively rather than just reacting when customers approach with a query. Point 7 here is outsourcing digital marketing to agencies. Outsourcing remains a great way to get more done, irrespective of the size of the business you're operating in. And no company wants to be held back by opportunities because they don't have enough resource or capacity in-house. And this is really where outsourcing can bring some immediate value to brands or an agency. And finally, Chatbots. Chatbots will be found on more and more websites for user experience, Kevin. They're evolving to become a much more useful and effective method for marketers to engage with consumers, enabling smaller business to even answer queries and engage with customers who actually might need assistance outside of traditional work hours, or for smaller businesses don't have the luxury of call centers. This does however require some investment and needs to be included in the digital strategy as early as possible. And according to Drift, many websites are now incorporating this into their businesses, with chatbots being the fastest brand communication channel currently, Kevin. And those are the key takeaway points for today.
I'm still new to the whole chatbot thing. I've seen it on websites, and I've seen that there's people trying to convince me that this will change your brand, and this will change how people engage with your brand. And I'm going, yeah, okay, dude. I'm like, but there has to be a whole bunch of programming that's involved, and I've got to be there to program it. And so I'm still needing to get used to how much I need to be present for the bot to exist.
And Kevin, that's exactly it. You clearly understand the challenges that exist behind being a small business, where one of those 6 pillars that we spoke about earlier is the conversational messaging, bringing AI and bots to life through those particular platforms. It isn't just about, again, a plug-in module that you flick a switch and chatbot's going to the panacea moment and solve all your queries. It is very much around machine learning, understanding the queries, you formulating the responses, getting to understand which responses now starting to answer a collective of questions and things like that. And it's a timely process unless you've got teams sitting on the back end around the clock that are working off scripts, answering the questions, getting next level responses, and building a deeper next level of insight for your business. It's an arduous process for smaller businesses.
It can be, but I'm still like, you just start with something, right? And,
yes,
and like do it, like take this stuff and really work on it, and do it step by step. But Craig, thank you. It's fascinating to hear that what the trends are looking like in 2023, and I think just listening to it, it's spot on. I think the competition is really turning up the heat.
Absolutely.
And if you're not engaged at every level and doing because every other Charlie Brown who's got a business doing his thing, he's probably going to sit up the extra 2 hours after work trying to figure out the chatbot, and his website's going to chat to customers that you're going to miss out on.
Absolutely, Kevin. And get that strategy in place, establish what your goals and measurement criteria are, where your media investment is, what content is in place to support the conversation, where you are in the digital consumer journey, and just get conversations on the way. Just start, as you say, have the chat.
Well, I always, then I'm going to shut up. I'm like, then we're done. The last thing, people always ask me, so how do you start a business? And I'm going, get your first client, right? And there's a moment you get your first client, all of these things start happening, and you just got to make it happen, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Greg, thank you so much. So guys, if you want to catch the Lunchtime series, we're on eBuzz Radio every Wednesday and Thursday on eBuzzRadio.com around about 12 o'clock. And you can catch us on all major podcast channels and the YouTube Lunchtime series as well. Please like, share, and follow, because you make it possible for us to be here. Craig, thank you so much, and have a fantastic week. I'll chat to you next week.
You too. Look forward to next week. Thanks, Kevin. Cheers. Bye.